What's new this month at Rogers Railroad Junction? For starters, Athearn has an ace in the hole with SD70 Aces in their Genesis line. Identifiable by the cutout corners on their noses, these units evolved from standard SD70s in the early 2000s, when railroads discovered the superior performance of alternating current traction motors as opposed to the more traditional direct current versions. Featuring working ditch lights, a full complement of MU connections and hoses, freestanding grab irons throughout, omnidirectional satellite communications array, that thing that looks like a skylight up top, see-through grillwork, full end and truck detail, and a Tsunami digital control system by Soundtrax. Then there's the Ready to Roll line, which is offering, among other things, 50-foot boxcars in various configurations. From single door, to double door, to combination door designs, several different versions of this perennial workhorse are available, with features that include see-through crossover platforms on some models, and working doors on others. Some of the last boxcars to be built before the industry switched to containerized traffic, many of these cars remain in journeyman service even today. And sticking with the Ready to Roll family for now, FMC covered hoppers are also in stock. Built by the Gunderson Metalworks division of the Food Machinery Corporation, the same Gunderson who built all of those stack cars you see these days, these hoppers carry up to 4,700 cubic feet of food-grade products and are among the more common freight cars currently in service. And speaking of stack cars, Gunderson's main competitor is also represented this month, in the form of Husky stack cars, also from Ready to Roll. Synonymous with modern freight service, cars such as these often comprise some of the hottest trains to be found anywhere, rushing from coastal ports to inland urban centers at breakneck speeds. Packed with consumer goods and indicative of the current Pacific Rim trading sphere, hog troughs like this promise to be a staple of American railroading for many years to come. Containers, on the other hand, are from Walthers and are sold separately. Don't get greedy now. Then it's back to the realm of hoppers with ACF cement hoppers. A shortened version of American Car Foundry's iconic centerflow design. Such cars date from the 1960s and can be found hauling everything from cement to concrete to sand and gravel and all manner of aggregates. Featuring real mesh roof walks and round or trough-style hatches. Returning to boxcars now, we might wind up with whiplash here if we're not careful. We've got 40-foot transition-era cars with Youngstown doors. Perfect for the modeler trying to replicate that awkward era when steam was halfway out the door, but diesels were still something of a novelty. These ubiquitous workhorses with their wood plank roof walks fit perfectly behind either or neither or both. And then there's 40-foot composite reefers. Another transitional car, these cold case carriers were built with wooden bodies on a steel frame, marking an era when designers were starting to realize the limitations of wood, but still lacked the technology necessary for all steel construction. All ready-to-roll items feature RP25 metal wheels, knuckle couplers, freestanding ladders, and underbody detail. And finishing things off for Athearn, there's the Roundhouse line with 50-foot autoloaders. Much like modern auto racks, these early car carriers consisted of a fabricated steel superstructure bolted to a standard flat car. The only difference today being that the flats are longer and the carrier modules now have protective sides. Special thanks to all of those little street urchins and their propensity for throwing rocks. And there's also 40-foot pulpwood flats as well. Built to haul raw material to hungry paper mills, These bulkhead flats, with their wing-like extensions, were designed to carry the small and uniformly sized logs that make paper-making such an easy process, but have the unfortunate drawback of being prone to rolling all over the damn place. All Roundhouse products feature metal wheels, knuckle couplers, and optimized weighting. And not to be outdone, Atlas is keeping things aloft with a pair of offerings that includes modern switching cabooses. With the advent of automated end-of-train devices in the late 1980s, the iconic and jaunty caboose was quick to disappear from its coveted place at the tail end of American freight trains. But that leaves the question of yard service, where the sometimes long periods of shoving cars between locations means that the brakeman riding the point needs a better place to stand than simply dangling like fish bait off the side of a beater boxcar. Enter the caboose, with its covered platforms and easy on and off stepwells, making it a perfect candidate for such service. Then there's Fairbanks Morse Trainmasters, also from Atlas. Featuring a unique opposed piston design, Trainmasters boasted impressive horsepower and acceleration thanks to their inline 12 engine blocks with 2 pistons per cylinder. As the most powerful single-block locomotives in the world at the time, Southern Pacific deployed several of these machines in its San Francisco commute service, where their superior acceleration was conducive to tight rush-hour schedules. However, the opposed piston design proved problematic for shop crews who were unfamiliar with such an oddity, and as the railroad industry shifted more towards turbocharged locomotives, the Trainmasters were quietly retired. Built by Atlas with a 5-pole skew-wound motor, detailed cab, working Mars lights, and a lock-sound dual-mode digital control system. Then it's on to N-Scale, which has 4 items of note this month, including 2 from Microtrains. Old-time Cut-A refrigerator cars are first up, featuring metal wheels and staff-style handbrakes. Its products once a staple in every American home, Cut-A employed more than 2,000 of these cars throughout the 1920s, many bearing billboard ads similar to this one. And then there's yet another addition to the Friendship series, which replicates carloads of donated relief supplies that were sent to Europe following the devastation of World War II. Those of you keeping score at home may recall that we profiled several previous cars in this series last month. Then there's Athearn N-Scale with 50-foot Berwick boxcars, which feature 10-foot doors, metal wheels, and simulated paint overspray along their roof seams. And finally, it's Atlas once again, with Alco S2 switchers. As one of the first switching locomotives to reach the 1,000 horsepower mark, when introduced back in 1940, the S2 cemented Alco's place as a force to be reckoned with in the early diesel locomotive market. Featuring cut levers, air hoses, directional LED lighting, and a digital-ready chassis. But of course, that's just the smallest slice of the giant pie we have here at Rogers, so why not stop on by and see what else is new this month, here at Rogers Railroad Junction today.